What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here.
There's a man going round rating games, and he decides who to cred and who to blame. Not every game will be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the tax comes around.
Please, touch some grass.
The hairs on my stars will stand up
This is a big old beefy boy.
at the terror and each sip and each sup. Will you partake of the last tax, or disappear into the YouTube stratosphere when the tax comes around? Oh boy, about 100 subscribers. That's essentially what I lost when I told people I didn't like the movie game for being a movie game. I'm not sure what people were expecting out of me after spending years telling them I don't like cinematic walking simulators from PlayStation. Did they think because it was on Xbox I was gonna pretend to like it? Whatever. Either way, I forgive you. You guys may not be the most loyal or rational of subscribers, but at the very least, all of you know there is no Xbox tax to be found on this channel. All my criticisms of Hellblade 2 came from a place of sincerity, because I found it was my obligation to be that honest. I didn't like Hellblade then, I don't like it now, I have no bias against it, it's just not for me, and as much as people dislike my stance, it's more consistent than what the gaming media has put out. What I had were criticisms of the game. What the gaming media has is an Xbox tax, which was once an indie title that was held in such high regard when it was exclusive to the PlayStation, is now all of a sudden too short, doesn't have enough gameplay, and is apparently overly cinematic. How in the world does the gaming media go from this is one of the greatest things ever made to, we don't like it now? Plain and simple, the Xbox tax. Small handful of people, including myself, we didn't like the first one when it came out. We thought it was overrated slop, and we still think that. But journalists, oh my god, did they love their indie darling, including folks like Dreamcastguy.
Other than that, I think we have a project here that's gonna earn loads of rewards for its daring design. Okay, so we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice a 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely not worth the $50, and at this point, I don't even really know if it's worth installing on Gamepass. But we have heard some good and some bad. Let's go over to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga a 4 out of 10.
I don't care who the IRS sends, I am not paying taxes.
God damn, it feels like the only person who has been consistent with their takes on Hellblade 2 and 1 is me. Everybody else is fake, pretending to like it, pretending to hate it, because there's nothing but politics behind this game. I mean, let's face it, pressure was put on this game because it was an Xbox exclusive. You take that pressure away, and people would honestly view the game differently. It's kind of hard to deny, really, because when it was a PlayStation-only title, people were saying, and I kid you not, people were saying this game made God of War look like Barbie or something, which I didn't even agree with back then. I mean, if you want to enjoy Hellblade 2 for what it is, that's fine, I suppose. I mean, it'd be kind of stupid to hold it against you. Everybody has different preferences, everybody has different tastes. What's not enjoyable to me could be a masterpiece to somebody else. However, what I find surprising is how anybody is hating the game for what it was originally. I hated it for what it was originally. I was very open about it. I sacrificed a lot of subscribers just to make that basic statement. But other folks, they seem to forget. Everything they hated about the game was something they were praising 6 years ago. And I can't believe gamers have to be the ones to remind the media about their own takes. You'd figure if you're Dreamcastguy and you're running your own channel, you would remember what you said about the first game, but apparently not. Apparently he completely forgot that every aspect of this is something he adored in the first game.
I mean, every part of this does look good, but this is pretty much just an interactive movie. You don't really have any skill trees, there's no weapon upgrades, there's no depth, there's no replayability. You literally just walk from place to place and occasionally get stopped by incredibly simple puzzles. Other than that, I think we have a project here that's going to earn loads of rewards for its daring design.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
It was perfectly content with the idea of a walking simulator with minimal gameplay, going as far as to call it innovative. Hell, he had the audacity to say less gameplay 6 years ago was daring. Now it's a problem for him. It was barely a video game back then, it's barely a video game now. What's the problem? Oh, I get it. We all know what the problem is. I mean, come on. You'd have to be completely disingenuous to yourself and everyone else around you to say it isn't related to the game being exclusive to Xbox.
I guess this almost feels like an antithesis of the Xbox formula. I mean, at this point, Microsoft is basically saying, we're not Sony.
What? Oh no!
From start to finish, the plot takes about 6 hours to complete, but it feels fitting to have a shorter length for such an emotional journey. You can beat this game in 5 hours. This is supposed to be the next big Xbox exclusive.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
I literally fell asleep at one point. I don't want to admit that because I feel like it makes me look like I don't take my job seriously.
I've seen this happen countless times with recent titles. It's not like the entire industry is in on it, though. I doubt every review site is in on the idea of taxing Xbox. That's quite stupid. But there is, without question, select individuals and select media sites that do apply a tax. There are a lot of people who are invested in seeing Xbox fail. I don't know why, because if Xbox was to fail and go away, we would be stuck with PlayStation, where they would region lock all your favorite multiplayer games and limit those who can play them, so why in the hell would you ever want something like that? Now I know what you're all thinking. No, Frit, it's a walking sim that's only 5 hours long and relies on pretty graphics. It deserves all the hate it gets. And to that crowd, I say, where the hell were you during Stray, huh? As a matter of fact, where were all of these reviewers during Stray? Oh, praising it, nominating it for awards, while barely qualifying as a fucking video game. What a coincidence! Come on. I wasn't born yesterday. I know what journalists praise and worship. I'm always keeping tabs because I know all of it will be relevant and serve me a purpose 12 months from now because, well, let's face it, half the human population is too stupid to remember what they believed in even 24 hours ago. And what was Stray exactly? The same thing Hellblade 2 is. An overpriced 4 to 5 hour long walking simulator. The only difference is when Stray came out, everybody was trying to nominate it for many awards. Okay, I cannot stress how hypocritical the gaming community and the media is. You can't argue with me on this one. I have the receipts. Motherfuckers were seriously considering Stray for Game of the Year. That's right, they were considering trying to push this 4 hour long walking simulator for Game of the Year. If it was okay then, why is it not okay now? I guess 6 years later, it's not okay now. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually quite happy with the reviewers that are pointing out that this thing is far too cinematic and less of a game. It's a very valid and fair criticism. It's just painful to see that it's not consistent. People do like their movie cinematic games, but it would seem they only like it from one corporation, when I like it from zero. Now, I will say, I personally think Hellblade 2 is the type of quote-unquote game Microsoft should have had released on launch day with the console to showcase what it's capable of, like they did last gen with Rise Son of Rome and PlayStation did with The Order 1886. Because the first game, while also basically being a tech demo, was heavily praised for pushing visuals and audio to the next level. Had Microsoft released this game as nothing more than a showcase of the hardware's potential, maybe reception would have been different. But when it comes to people like Dreamcastguy, nothing would have changed. He receives review codes for games, and yet he's like one of the most untrustworthy reviewers on the entire website. If there's any place I can confirm the Xbox tax exists, it exists on his channel. And not solely as a meme, but as an actual thing. Because when I refer to the Xbox tax, I'm usually just memeing. With Dreamcastguy, however, he proves it is indeed a real thing. Hopefully Ninja Theory doesn't get shut down, and hopefully Gamepass isn't to blame, even though people on Twitter are blaming Gamepass for this one, even though the games are close to the same peak player count. I mean, you would expect those numbers to be higher after Twitter was crying about how Microsoft isn't advertising the game enough. With the amount of likes I saw some tweets getting, you'd figure people were gonna go and buy the game. But no, it's all bark, no bite. There's nothing you can do to satisfy people who hold the Xbox tax. Even if Microsoft is releasing the exact same cinematic-driven, interactive-less tech demos that barely pass off as games, that pleases a specific crowd. Anyways, hopefully you guys aren't so upset with me anymore for being critical. At the very least, you can see I've never been inconsistent with this product. And so for that, you're going to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.
Africanga sucks ass.